when you look forward now in the era of a Bitcoin ETF, is a business model like Coinbase's in severe threat, frankly, given the ETF flow?
Yeah, I think the public markets drastically underappreciate what these businesses are, right? So if you think about it, everyone knows the exchange business, everyone knows the custody business, but Coinbase has kind of quietly been transitioning into a Web3 or kind of crypto native revenue as well. And so they have this new blockchain base that's driving a lot of revenue. And so really what I think public market investors should be thinking about, whether it's Coinbase or other of these public companies, is go stack rank every single one of these companies by what percentage of the revenue comes crypto native. And the higher the percentage of crypto native revenue, the more mispriced they probably are in the public markets. And I think Coinbase is a great example.
Speaking of crypto native, you have kind of the ETF, you have other kind of stocks tied to the crypto industry, but then you have things that are actually decentralized, things that live in Web3, a word that we don't hear a lot anymore on these programs. Where is the value anymore as an investor? Do you start to look at more mainstream Bitcoin and the Bitcoin related products that have attached to Wall Street, or do you look into Web3?
Well, I think it's all the same thing, right? If you really think about it, Bitcoin was the one that kicked off this entire revolution. When you look at the monetary competition, I think Bitcoin is by far the winner. Now there's going to be a big technology competition. And really, when you look at this sector, I think a lot of people want to put it in a separate bucket. But I look at this just as another macro asset that you can go in and you can invest in. And so what we have seen is young people specifically are putting their capital into this sector. This sector has outperformed drastically. Even with the recent pull down, Bitcoin is still up like 75% or something. And so I think that investors who want to have outperformance, they're going to have to allocate to this sector. And the ones that continue to fight it, they're just going to get left behind.
Anthony, I want to get back to the spot Bitcoin ETF discussion, but I have to ask you a little bit more about Coinbase. Obviously, had a great year last year, up nearly 400% or something like that. You take a look at the 2024 performance, down, 28% year to date. Is that a dip that you're buying?
So Coinbase, we've just held the position, and what I think really, again, it's the #1 regulated exchange in America. And so if you're bullish on this sector, you've got to be bullish on Coinbase. Another thing is they're the custody provider for many of these ETFs. And so in some weird way, they're almost taxing the entire ETF kind of trend. And so I think Coinbase will continue to be a leader. And overall, that's good for the industry, but I also think it's good for Wall Street, right? Wall Street doesn't just want to have a bunch of assets that are sitting there that they can't access if they're on non-public exchanges. And so having a stock like Coinbase that they're able to allocate to, I think is actually good for them as well.